Mr. Alex, thanks for joining us, my brother. I appreciate you. Good evening to you. Please, I'd like you to talk to us.
Yes, euphoric and bountiful salutations from my domicile, Mr. Najawa. Thank you for your revelation intervention. Thank you for your work for a month of Sundays and for donkey days or donkey months now. I want to say, Obobo Lobuna, that the voice of the people will always remain the voice of God.
Thank you.
Wole Soyinka has exposed himself that when it comes to history, he is an historical dwarf. His knowledge of history is so infinitesimal. He has a shallow knowledge of history. The word barbarian is, for me, I don't consider it as a bad word. The barbarians were the ones that were responsible for the fall of the ancient Roman Empire. When Roman Empire became corrupted, they became so corrupt, they engaged in all sorts of immoral activities. They had problems. The empire was so vast, they were in charge of the whole world. The so-called barbarian were the one that invaded Rome and brought down that empire. And the term barbarian was used by ancient Greek and Roman scholars to refer to foreign peoples, including German and Celtic peoples to the north and Hunnic and Slavic people to the northeast. The immigration of those peoples into the Mediterranean region led to the downfall of Roman. I'm quoting Google just now, just on a general knowledge. So Wole Soyinka, for me, should be ready. He called barbarians in a negative connotation on the internet. We are bringing them down. We will bring them down. Their corruption, their wickedness, their heartlessness. Soyinka was in Lagos when things were going on during the elections. He pretended to have traveled. He didn't travel anywhere. He was in Nigeria when Deborah's life was taken, broad daylight. So these were the characters of the great Roman Empire leaders. The politicians in Rome engaged in all sorts of immoral activities. Incest, mother sleeping with children, father sleeping with daughters. They forgot their morals. Whereas the so-called barbarians were organized, disciplined set of people. Let me further read to you a little bit. A barbarian is a member of a people who are not part of the ancient great nations. The designation is usually applied as a generalization based on a popular stereotype. Barbarians can be, it's not, for me, that's his business. But these social media barbarians are fighting them very hard, just like the ancient barbarians fought the Roman empires and conquered them. And we will conquer them. If he's not feeling the heat, why is it, shooting back? If social media is not powerful, why is he crying over the barbarians? Why is he acting like the Gogo Medusa of the ancient Roman Empire or the Kraken of the ancient Greek mythology? So he could be a Nobel laureate in literature, but he has no knowledge of history. He exposed himself. He just exposed himself that he belonged to the cartel of corrupt people, just like the ancient Roman Empire was corrupt, which led to their downfall. Their borders were exposed. The kingdoms were broken into different kingdoms, and they were invaded. They were plunged. The same thing we are going to do it, and we are organizing ourselves. We'll keep pushing. We push through the NSAS hashtag end police brutality. We came through the obedient movement. We are coming. We will keep pushing ideologically. If he's not feeling the heat of his wickedness, if his wickedness is not popular to the blind, is not visible to the blind, or is not audible to the deaf, why is he crying? How did he know that there are barbarians in the social media? I challenge him to historical facts. Literature and history are two different, and history is a bedrock of law. And law is part of the tenets or principles of democracy. Hypocrites. I dare to say a political, charlatans. Because he has been quiet, because a Yoruba man allegedly is now a president. All the cry about restructuring that he was crying in Buhari administration. All the cry about decentralization of power in Nigerian, presidential democracy. Where are the, all the articles he has been writing? The speeches he gave in Washington. Where are those? We are not fools. Yes, I'm proud. If this is how to be a barbarian, I'm proud to be a social media barbarian. And I will always be a barbarian. If talking about insecurity makes me a barbarian, if talking about the lack of transparency, the rampant, rampage borrowing of money by Tinubu's government, Buhari government, this is, talking about it, where people are suffering, millions of dollars are stolen on a daily basis. If this have to be a barbarian, let me be a barbarian. Let my children even be barbarians, because they will carry on from anywhere I stopped. If asking for, not the Kanu to be released as the court has ruled, is being a barbarian, let me be a barbarian. If asking for self-actualization, like Scotland wants to leave the UK, is being a barbarian because the country is not treating us fairly, let me be a barbarian. Catalonia should be barbarians because they want to leave from Spain. That means Pakistan that left from India, they are also barbarians. You see, by force to live in a marriage where you are assaulted and abused on a daily basis, Mr. Wole Soyinka, let us be barbarians. Ask your government, your brother's government, your fellow tribal bigotry man who is the president, what is happening to the borrowed money? Who is in charge of our national accounts, of our sovereign patrimony, of our commonwealth as a nation? The crude oil in the deltas, the gold in Zamfara, the bitumen in Ogun State, the Californium in Sambisa Forest, who are responsible for the insecurity. If this is how to be a barbarian, I think I'm happy to be a barbarian. Mr. Noble Lawrence, you could be an expert in literature, but in history, sorry, sir, you are just a dwarf. You know nothing. I will sit you down, school you respectively, sir. You shouldn't have used that word barbarian because it's not a bad word. You are talking like the capitalists. But for me, I've never had any respect for you since election period. You lost my respect during that period, sir. So I'm happy to be a barbarian, and I will always be a barbarian. We love it. Look at the minister appointed by Tinubu. Monies are stolen every day. 585 million, 30 billion, 80 billion. If talking about it as a citizen, as a stakeholder, the land that my forefathers gave to me to protect. If this is what makes me a barbarian in a democracy, I think, Mr. Soyinka, if not for old age, I would have asked you, maybe you need a psychiatric attention, sir. But I respect gray hair because I want to have a lot of it. As people grow older, you expect them to be more truthful, to be more sympathetic, to be more closer to God. But the reverse is the case with you, sir, Mr. Soyinka. Calling social media people back. Wait for the backlash. You will know the meaning of barbarians. You will see the historical antecedents and the greatness of barbarians. And your Nigerian Roman Empire and the corrupt cartel, they will definitely be brought down, just like the ancient barbarians brought down the Roman Empire. Markets, it's coming, it's crashing already. You saw it at the elections. Why was Beavers switched off? You will never address that. Were you not on this planet when Beavers was switched off? When a certain ethnic, tribe was being profiled, shops were burnt down, a lady was almost blinded, people lost their lives. How are the mighty falling? Tell it not in Gads. Publish it not in the streets of Ascalon, Mr. Soyinka. Lest the daughters of the Philistines rejoice, and of the uncircumcised triumph. With all you've read, this is where is your moral conscience? It's not all about literature or grandiloquent expressions. Let's talk about morality. Exactly how the Romans were behaving. Exactly. Oppressiveness, suppression, corruption, looting, rape, incest. Suddenly they were invaded. We are invading you peacefully, democratically. And you are feeling the heat already. You are the real Roman leaders in Nigeria. And you will go down. Nigeria I'm very happy to be a barbarian. Let me talk about Nnamdi Kanu. For me, Nnamdi Kanu is one of the most popular people right now. Yeah, he may have issues. When I remember him, I think about the leaders of Catalonia who want to leave from Spain. Nnamdi Kanu was not always a violent person. Nnamdi Kanu was not asking for much. Nnamdi Kanu was ready for dialogue. His house was invaded. His family members were murdered. He ran for his life to Israel, resurfaced in the UK, kidnapped in Kenya, extradited unlawfully to Nigeria, beaten. His human rights were trampled upon. Such a citizen has a British passport, and you tell me the British government is not involved in this? I say kabutu rejectamenta to that. Say that to the birds. Of course, now you can deduce where the call, where the call for the Lekki Gate massacre to happen, where the call came from. Your guess is as good as mine. During elections, why was your INEC elected president? Why was he always in France and in UK? Your guess is as good as mine. It's a shame on the United Kingdom government for a citizen of theirs, whether dual citizen or triple citizens, I don't care, to be facing injustice orchestrated by Nigerian government or by them themselves, the UK. I say it's a shame. It's such a shame. UK is a home of democracy for me. UK is an example of democratic practices. UK is an example of Eldorado and citizen welfare. UK is supposed to be an example of the rule of law. Citizenship rights guaranteed. Is Nnamdi Kanu passport not British passport? Is there fake British passport, or is there second class British passports? Because no British citizen will go through what he's going through in Buckingham Palace or the Congress in Downing Street. We will not be shaking. So that's a question for their conscience. For me, he has written his name in gold. Not everybody live to be 100 years. I'm not wishing him death, but it's good to live for something than die for nothing. Such men have my respect. Nelson Mandela was in jail for the almost similar reasons. You may argue, but for 27 years. Kwame Nkrumah of Ghana was also imprisoned for asking for freedom for the people of Ghana. Yes, he succeeded and got them freedom, but he paid with his life. Who do we talk about? Is it Madibu Keita? Who? Name them. People. Is it Sankara? They are all intertwined. So we are watching them. We continue to speak. Let Nnamdi Kanu go. Release him. These are we all spoke. Nigeria and other countries spoke for Mandela through music, through movies, through organizational protests across the globe, donations, meetings, symposium, forums. We continue to speak. I'm happy that they are replying because they are feeling it. People are mocking them in their area of influence. Their friends, their peers, the people around them are mocking them. They're asking them questions. This is what is prompting the reactions from the likes of Wole Soyinka. As far as I'm concerned, the British government has a reason. They have a hand in the Nnamdi Kanu saga. It's such a malodorous saga that we must continue to speak respectively to criticize these activities. Because for me, this is an infringement of a citizen's rights for a government to keep quiet. This is why I respect Donald Trump, irrespective of your view about him. I don't live in America. I respect those who live in America. For me, Donald Trump is the greatest American leader to have ever lived in my lifetime. An American citizen was kidnapped days before elections. You call it an election stunt, no problem. Ransom was being asked, $200,000. The father was a missionary. There's no money. He sent a branch of the American military department, Team C, they call it. Came into Nigerian space, unannounced, unnoticed, rescued that boy. Earned the respect of the world. Gave a press conference on that, to the shame of Nigeria security, apparatus or apparatchik. The same Donald Trump asked Buhari Is it true you are killing Christians in your country? Is it true? Buhari said no. He was blubbing. Is a communal crisis between herders and farmers. He said, but I heard Christians have been murdered. He said it's not true. He said the same Donald Trump said. I shook his hand talking about Buhari. He said he looked lifeless. I miss Donald Trump. Hashtag bring Donald Trump back.
The next person to speak to us. For those of you just coming in, thank you very much. Nena Ogbona, thank you very much for joining us. Didi Anthony, thank you very much. Fumi O, thank you very much. I appreciate every one of you. Okay, Mr. Alex, you are back. We lost you there. Can you hear me now?
Yes, let me just round up with this. Let me round up. If you, thank you. APC is fighting me. The PDP is also fighting because I know they are listening in all government houses. They are listening. Donald Trump, under Donald Trump, where Showore was having problems, right? Was he under Donald Trump? Yes, I should be correct. Showore was having problem, even if it was not under Donald Trump. As an American citizen, married to an American citizen, guess what? A member of Congress released a statement that that Showore should be released immediately, or the Nigerian government is going to have problem with Washington. Guess what? Not up to 3 days. Buhari, the wicked Buhari government vomited Nnamdi Kanu like Showore like the way vomited Jonah in Nineveh. So respect to Americans. For me, Britain, I leave it to your conscience. Let me try and just call it a day here. I want to tell Nigerians, don't give up. I believe in my country. I love my country. I love my land. My forefathers lived here, gave it to me, and I will give it to my children. Their policies can't deter me. I may travel, but I will always come back home. East or west, home is best. Against hope, I still believe something will happen in this country. Either it will be broken into smaller countries, or we will come to a round table. A set of people are going to come up or bring all us together again for us to discuss a new way for a new country. Otherwise, for now, we keep talking. We accept that we are barbarians, democratic barbarians, who wants to live, who wants to have electricity. If asking for electricity is how to be a barbarian, I think I want to be a barbarian. If asking for water to drink is from a government that took my votes or that stole my votes is how to be a barbarian, I love to be a barbarian. If questioning the role of leaders in kidnapping and collecting money from their citizens as ransom in a country that have armed forces is how to be a barbarian. If asking questions, I want to be a barbarian. If asking for the money stolen or being borrowed on a daily basis by Tinubu and Buhari government is how to be a barbarian, let me be a barbarian. If asking for the reason why beavers was switched off against what was said in Chatham House in the UK is being a barbarian, let me be a barbarian. If asking for the arrest and prosecution of the man that took 300 billion naira, Professor Mahmoud, is being a barbarian, let me be a barbarian. If fighting for a better country, for basic amenities, justice, checks and balances, this is how to be a barbarian, let me be barbarian. Well, then I leave you to your conscience, if you still have one. And I'll try to leave it here. And finally, let me respond to Wike. Wike for me is just a man that is confused. Wike lost my respect. I used to like him, but I just discovered he's a very selfish man. Ignore him. Of course, I dare to say he's a mantibular walkabout. He's a garrulous fellow. He's a guy that has no people's intention at heart. And everything good I ever said about him, I take them back. So these guys' days in politics are coming to an end. Just like the Roman Empire was brought down by the barbarians. We, the barbarians of the social media, the good ones, we will bring them down. Thank you, Nigeria-Wash.
Thank you, my brother, for saying it right there. And all your points, wow, all your points. Yes, asking for what is right. If that is enough to call you a barbarian, yes, I'm a barbarian. I like that. I like that. Yes. Yeah, because that's why they're calling us barbarians. No finesse. Calling out satanic Mahmoud Yakubu, you are a barbarian. saying that Tinubu stole the mandate to become the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Yes, you are a barbarian for saying that. I like that. Thank you very much, Mr. Alex. May God bless you. Thank you.